Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're actually going to talk about comic books.
Yep.
We used to talk a lot more about comic books on this channel until we realized that nobody cared about comic books.
Back up for a second. While we're talking about comic books, let me tell you about ours. You can get it at shopclownfish.com.
That's shopclownfish.com.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Hurry.
I couldn't resist when you made that comment. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to get in on that.
So let's talk about Zest World.
That sounds like a cooking show. I'm sorry. To me,
It does. It
really
does.
zesty. It sounds like,
Yeah, so this is aiming to be a Substack competitor. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the situation with Substack and comics and how Bleeding Cool really is not doing this site any favors. They actually put an article out there the other day that I had some people send me. Zest World Comics is like Substack without the transphobia. That's not how they're marketing the site at all.
That's how Rich Johnson's marketing the site.
Yeah.
But the site itself isn't going around saying that.
No, this is actually anti-marketing because now people might not look at Zest World because they're like, oh, okay, Zest World's about activism and stuff.
We're going to stay away from it.
Stay away from that. But no, they do not. I believe they do not use that terminology at all. And disclaimer: we actually know some of the people on Zestworld, which I was surprised. Arcathena, Eric Canetti has a comic on there, and I have a physical copy of the book, and it's absolutely beautiful. And Eric worked on the 2002 Masters of the Universe series.
Yep. Oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah.
The good one.
The good one. Yeah, it's actually my favorite. That's my favorite version of He-Man. Still.
I think it's my favorite, too, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. But
wish I did She-Ra.
I can vouch that his stuff, at least, is very good. But we're going to talk about this because, the bigger story here is that comic book professionals are sort of painting themselves into a corner, trying to do the moral thing, trying to avoid using platforms that are problematic. And we've talked about, how you've essentially cut off the means of support for a lot of indie creators because there is the threat of being ostracized or shamed for using platforms like Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Well, first was Indiegogo, and then it was Kickstarter now.
Gumroad.
There are no good nicks in Gumroad because, how dare they use, blockchain technology or payment processors who take crypto.
Yeah. So, we'll talk about that because it used to be.
Go scream about it on Twitter.
5 or 6 years ago, you had tons of options if you were creating independent comic books that you could go to, Indiegogo and Kickstarter, sell your PDFs. You could go Comixology. They've effed that up now. So now Twitter, and it's Comics Twitter, has decided there is only a handful of acceptable options because Indiegogo you're not allowed to use because Comicsgate people use Indiegogo now, even though the platform itself is apolitical, completely neutral.
Well, that's it. Apolitical is a bad thing. Just ask Disney.
Right. So you can't use it because of Comicsgate, even though there are a lot of people buying comics over there that are not Comicsgate people. Kickstarter, of course, became problematic because they announced that they were going to be using and integrating blockchain technology.
Down the road.
They
were looking into it.
They're not even doing it now. Now, Kickstarter, some people left out of principle because they were gatekeeping certain comic book creators from the platform based on their, social media presences elsewhere. If you had a YouTube channel, somebody didn't like whatever. The people that were doing the gatekeeping, though, are gone. They got gone.
A lot of them left because,
left or shit canned.
Yeah.
So now Kickstarter got all kinds of backlash. You're not allowed to use Kickstarter. You're a bad person because blockchain.
But we'll go to Twitter and scream about it because Twitter doesn't do anything remotely connected to NFTs or blockchain.
Right. Yeah. Twitter, which is going all in. In fact, you can create your own NFT avatar on Twitter. But let's scream about NFTs on Twitter.
Speaking about Twitter, last word. If anybody follows me, they'll understand.
Anyway, now here comes Substack. Now, Substack is a blogging platform. And they invested a lot of money last year, particularly into comic book creators. They were actually pulling some of the biggest names in comics away from their publishers.
And I want to point out that some of the people that were going to Substack were not straight white and male.
This is true. So because Substack, again, is one of those apolitical platforms, and they're giving advances to everybody across the board, apparently there are some writers on Substack that comic book Twitter does not like. They consider these people to be transphobic. And no, it's not J.K. Rowling. Although I don't know if there's enough money to pay her to go to like, hey, write the next Harry Potter book on Substack. Could you imagine?
Yeah, well, I don't
Here's
think
$1 billion.
they could afford that.
Here's $1 billion, Joe. Write the next Harry Potter on Substack. But they made very lucrative offers to the top writers in comics, and these people took it.
Why wouldn't they?
They took it.
Finally, we get paid.
Yeah, exactly. Look, the writing has been on the wall for a while with the mainstream comic book industry. It's like if somebody, some venture capitalist backed, Silicon Valley company comes to you and says, here, have hundreds of thousands of dollars to create your own independent comic books. And then when you're done, you can take them to like, Kickstarter or Dark Horse or wherever you want to go. No strings attached. It's free money.
Yeah, why would you say no?
Why would you say no? Well, you're supposed to say no because transphobes apparently are on the platform. So now the comic book industry is trying to come up with its own alternatives. The problem with this is I don't know if these companies, the Zest World, which I guess does have millions of dollars to throw around.
Well, it sounds to me like their focus is more on making
Just
sure comics and comic creators it's comic centric. So it's focused on comics and their fans and, ways they can monetize comics for those people. It seems like it's, a better place to go if you're into comics. But they don't say these things.
Yeah, they're not saying what Rich Johnston is saying, which I know he did this just to get clicks because we know how the game's played. That's how this works. But I don't think they ever brought up transphobia. They're basically like, this is Substack, but this is specifically for comic books, which I think needs to happen. But I don't know if they've got the deep pockets that Substack has.
Right.
So we're going to talk about this article.
A little late now, but before we get into it any further.
Before we get into it further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 262,000 subs.
Woo,
thank you for the support. We do talk about comics, having worked in and around the comic book industry for a number of years. For a while, we actually worked in comics full time. Didn't make very much money.
Which is why we didn't do it.
Which is why we didn't continue doing it. We noped out of comics. We did not get canceled from the comic book industry.
No, we actually had an agent and everything.
Oh, yeah. It was just like, the money is just not there. So we're always interested, though, having been kind of guinea pigs, I guess, for a lot of these digital platforms. We've always been interested in new technology and new platforms coming out and new ways to connect readers with comic books. But the comic book industry, specifically comic book Twitter, always finds a way to ruin it. Like, Substack was very exciting, and they ruined it. Mm-hmm. Crowdfunding, very exciting, and they ruined it.
Yeah.
Comixology just got ruined by Amazon. So
they did that themselves.
So let's talk about the article here. Zest World Comics, it's like Substack without the transphobia. Substack without transphobia, says Rich Johnston. That seems to be the new appeal. No, that's not what they're saying. I actually went out and read that's not what they're saying. For the comics-only Zest World digital comic book and newsletter subscription service with almost $10 million in initial funding, which has provided offers of sizable advances for the initially announced creator-owned titles. Arc Athena, Eric Kennedy, highly recommend it, by the way. We have The Awakened, we've got Blood Tree, Boom Pow, Jimmy Palmiotti, Found Other Worlds. What do we have here? These are all, Marvel, DC staples, for sure. Not a lot of comics on there so far, but it's just like, where is this transphobia dig coming from? So this is the
they don't give a reason.
No.
Like they just make that comment, but they don't put it into context. Well, we got this from this statement.
No. So this is the co-founder CEO Chris Gilberti said in recent years the comic book industry has boomed, producing global hits on a scale unprecedented in the history of entertainment. Manga has boomed. Comic book movies have boomed. Mm-hmm. I don't think the comic book industry has boomed.
No, not really.
That's why everybody's leaving to go to Substack, right? Contrast this enormous popularity and franchise value with the livelihood of the creators who invented the beloved characters that dominate our culture. They made bad deals. Don't make bad deals. It's time we equip this community with its own dedicated platform specifically tailored to the comics medium. Okay, well, I do agree to some extent with that because Substack, your comics are going to get lost in the blogs.
Probably,
political stuff and all that other junk, So I do agree with that. I just don't know if... Now, Substack is, I think, trying to separate the comics content out a little bit more from...
Well, they weren't then. They are now.
Yeah, if they weren't before, they are now. But so they have almost $10 million in funding. Polygon Technology, I hope it's not related to Polygon, the website. TaskRabbit CEO, a bunch of people. Redstone Capital, oh boy, and Twitch founder Kevin Lin. Zest World plans to offer creator support services, including business management, online community, digital publishing, virtual events, and rights management, and NFTs.
Oh my God! Everybody loses it with Twitter.
My God!
Oh, I'm like doing that.
Oh my God, guys! Oh! It doesn't have transphobia, but it's got NFTs,
which is almost the same thing as Twitter. People are dying.
People are literally dying every time you buy a monkey smoking crack.
That's right.
Off of OpenSea. People are dying.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, look, it's so weird though, because as people who were in the ground floor of a lot of web comics endeavors, and saw a lot of things come and go, and saw a lot of mainstream trying to get into web comics. And
yeah, they used to actually hire us to go in and test these things. We used to get paid to go try these things out.
Like you guys like money and you're gullible. You go, no. No, we would though. They seriously, there are so many platforms that we were there kind of at the beginning, trying them out and giving our opinions on, because we do like new technology and new ways to promote comics. At least back then, we were a lot more comic friendly, I think, than we are now. Now we've seen too much shit with the industry.
Right. We're terrible people because we actually say things that we're not supposed to. But, if you really wanted attention at Bleeding Cool, he could have just led with NFTs. That would have probably done a lot more for clicks than Transphobia would have.
Another comic book platform is banking on NFTs.
But nothing in their thing that we've seen has said that they're, oh, you need to come here because of transphobia and stuff like that over at other places.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say about all this is there has been so much discussion over the last couple of years about getting comic book creators paid. And at the end of the day, the only way that comic book creators are going to get paid is if the comics sell.
Right. But another thing about a lot of these are you get paid if they bring you in.
Right. So people are taking the advances. They have venture capital.
But I'm saying it's not open to everybody wants to come in and gets paid. That's not how this works. So,
no.
There's that too. And maybe people are salty about it. Hence the transphobia comment.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about, before we wrap it up, is a lot of the drama around, Substack and Kickstarters and Indiegogos and all that comes down to the haves and the have-nots. And Substack was invitation only, and you basically had to be, at least at first, they did bring some other creators in later, but you had to be kind of like a AAA creator. They're going after the big names, the Batman writers and that sort of thing. And they were making them very lucrative offers. Now, I'm sure everybody's offer is different, just like any other publishing where, we know having a Batman writer is going to bring in X number of eyeballs, but this person with this little indie comic, I don't know, you're not getting as much, and that's just kind of the way it works. But it does look like it's kind of set up like a Webtoon. But yeah, I think a lot of the shit being thrown at comic book creators who take these deals or use these platforms does come down to jealousy, just plain simple jealousy. Somebody got a deal, they didn't get a deal. Somebody made $500,000 or $1 million in crowdfunding. They didn't.
And they did it without them getting any coverage or help from them.
Yeah. So, speaking of Comicsgate, these creators are out there making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them have broken $1 million. And they're doing it without the help of people like Rich Johnston. In fact, Rich Johnston has been anti-help. He's actually been dunking on them every chance he got because he doesn't agree with their politics.
Yeah, but actually kind of roundabout way actually helps.
It actually helps. Yes, it does. Because people are like, well, we don't like Rich Johnston, so let's throw our money at...
when you tell people to stay away from something or not do it, that they're going to go do it. That's kind of what you're doing.
Absolutely. So yeah, the industry has made its own problems. But another option, there we go. I just think it's kind of funny that... that's Johnson's takeaway is it's not transphobic. And you're going to run out of places to sell your comics if you're so concerned. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, it was driving me nuts.
Her face was very big. If you're so concerned about being the moral authority and doing everything right and whatever. You don't leave your house. Because
right, you're always gonna do something that's gonna set somebody off somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You have to look out for yourself at some point, and don't listen to your peers, because we've learned in comics, especially, is very much a crabs in the bucket situation, and your peers do not have your best interests in mind. So do what you got to do for yourself, and go from there, right?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now he's just tasty, delicious, rotten flesh meat, which I can consume. Don't read into it too much.
Just like our museum, the cafe's open and Brewster is eager to serve. I don't think this was in the show. Run, 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 run. Oh, you got splatted.
Oh,
she was begging and you kicked her in the face.
I don't care.
Hey guys, Squid King here, and today we're in a—
Not girl boss, not girl boss at all. She is not a material girl.
She is not. Oh, it's Christmas time here in your mom. Nobody wants to join your mom.
What?
Like, I can't even cook kid cuisine right. I would last about 2 minutes with Gordon Ramsay.
What? Where is he?
He's hiding. He's hiding from you.
Better.
Oh my God, you got the axe.
Walker, does this look like Steven Universe? Let me punch him! Well, I'm just here for the wax. Right where you belong.
Get in the dirt.
Well, that was a combination of events I probably shouldn't have put together. Anyways, let's open this bottle too.
Chica Pinata. Is that official?
Oh, no.
There's a bootleg.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, it's Diamond Tool.
Let's make a farm.
Like and subscribe and buy my merch.
I mean, while you're here, you guys should like really like and subscribe and buy our merch, all of which we have.
That is true. You can't run them carrying trash. You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
I wish I'd known that sooner.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this effer up.
Yes.